Mr. Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Dunn, my condolences to you on the loss of your dear son. And Sheriff Daniels, thank you for your service, sir.
Thank you.
For years, we've listened to MAGA Republicans decry a so-called invasion at our southern border. Now that they have a House majority, MAGA Republicans are in charge, and MAGA Republicans are responsible for coming up with solutions, but unfortunately, this hearing is nothing more than a distraction from the fact that my MAGA friends cannot agree on the problem or the solution. The House Republican border security plan is so extreme that it is opposed by dozens of their own members. Their plan has been called extreme, anti-American, and not Christian. And that's how Republicans describe it. What we do know is that the MAGA Republican plan will shut down asylum to everyone, including those fleeing communist totalitarian regimes and young children who are crossing the border alone to flee gang violence. This draconian and cruel policy will only diminish America's standing in the world. Meanwhile, President Biden has shown that we can lower the number of unauthorized border crossings while still treating migrants with dignity and humanity. Immigration is much more than a scary B-roll on Fox News or inflammatory Twitter posts. It's about our fellow human beings, migrants who arrive with nothing but the clothes on their backs, work hard to build new lives here. Indeed, immigrants are important for our communities and our economy because of the skills they bring to the contributions that they make to our society. New Americans in my district are small business owners who pay their taxes, enrich our neighborhoods, and help newer members of the community. For example, they've set up numerous businesses and vibrant and economically successful locations where they can even employ other immigrants and Americans. At Refugee Coffee in Clarkston, Georgia, they even have a food pantry where they leave groceries for anyone that might be in need. Immigrants are vital to my district, and we appreciate them. Now, while Republicans resort to political stunts at the border and theatrical hearings like this one, Democrats stand ready to fix a broken immigration system. We have a responsibility to act, and we stand ready to work with serious Republicans to pass meaningful solutions. Judge Samaniego, thank you for being here. I'm fortunate to be traveling with my colleague, Veronica Escobar, to El Paso tomorrow. What can you tell me that we should be looking for on our visit tomorrow?
I believe the unity of what happens when a community decides to work together. You know, we're called El Paso del Norte was our first name, and so we've been doing this for centuries. People pass through our community. We know how to do this in a humanitarian way. We are very, very organized. We have a strategy that I think that people should look at. That, you know, especially this idea of getting communities to send buses to us so that we can have sponsors and migrants that go to their community. So our strategy works. It only doesn't work when we're not funded properly. At any point, we're able to handle large numbers, but then we don't get the proper funding. And when we talk about, like Secretary Mayorkas, so when he came down, he immediately was able to help us with FEMA funding, allowed us to move the processes. And when you push them back into Juarez, all you're doing is creating more anxiety, you're creating more desperation, you're creating more issues, not only for us, but for a community that works, you know, on an economic level. There's no border that works in such an economic level. And to push them back, I think is extremely reckless of our neighbors.
Well, let me stop you there and ask you this last question. According to CBP, from January 2021 to January 2023, only 8 undocumented immigrants were arrested for fentanyl smuggling at the southern border.
That's correct.
Compared to 119 U.S. citizens. Is it your experience that an increase in migrants is tied to an increase in fentanyl?
We haven't seen that because, first of all, they come with very little things. I mean, they get a backpack, they get, they're carrying things that are very easy, they're vetted very properly. Not only are they vetted with Border Patrol, we vet them as well. We vet them at the shelters, so we're constantly looking for that. We're taking care of the nation. We're not going to allow someone to bring drugs in and unwittingly. I mean, we're going to do everything possible to be part of that process.
Gentleman's time has expired. The gentleman from Arizona, Mr. Biggs.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Dunn, you and your wife, thank you for being here today. Appreciate your testimony and